lawsuits. So they have a motive, bias to gain money. But that's, I think, not an argument that juries should buy in any case. I mean, they have a right to, but first of all, every person who is a victim has a right to file a civil lawsuit to seek compensation. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? And if they didn't file a civil lawsuit, well, and they just testified in this court of law, then the defense would probably try to find a different argument as to this is about showing bias. They have a right to try to show bias. But again, we'll have to see what the evidence is. He's entitled to a presumption of innocence unless and until he's proven guilty in a court of law beyond a reasonable doubt. We don't know at this point what the defense is going to have. It looked to me that Mr. Combs had over 10 defense lawyers in the courtroom. That's kind of a small army of defense lawyers, and we don't know if all of them are even there. He may have more, somewhere else in an office working on his case.
That's millions and millions of dollars.
He's a wealthy man. His future is at stake, and he can spend whatever he wants on lawyers, but that's a large number of lawyers in the courtroom, so we'll see what they can do.
How do you feel this first day?
And they had a woman defense lawyer giving the opening statement for the defense in the same way that the prosecution, which is an all-woman, I might add, extremely experienced defense team, because they have, I know some of them in terms of having dealt with them, and I know that they're very experienced and have dealt with other very high-profile sex trafficking cases. That doesn't mean this is one. This is the allegation. This is the theory. It's part of the theory. More to it than that. So we'll see.
Thank you, Gloria. That was
Gloria, how do you think about the defense claim that everything was done consensual?
Well, yeah, as I said, I mean, that's the argument. And that's generally the argument. But again, there's a differential in power. And they did admit that he is a person who controls. He is a person who has an anger issue, especially when he's under the influence of drugs or alcohol.
We're going to try to say that.
That, of course, is not a defense to hitting a woman. It's not a defense to sex trafficking if they can prove it. So we'll see. Obviously, and what defense attorneys usually try to do is paint their client as the true victim, that the government is overreaching.
They were trying to,
and we'll see. We'll see what the jury thinks.
They were trying to pin it on the escort, saying he engaged in prostitution. He was supposed to just be promoting a sex company. Did you guys pick up on that?
Well, yeah, they're trying to. Of course, any witness for the prosecution is going to be cross-examined by the defense. It's going to be attacked by the defense. And they'll try to show inconsistent statements. They'll try to show that their observations perhaps were faulty, that maybe they'll test the credibility of the witness. They'll accuse them of bias. There are many, many ways to attack a witness.
They deflected it onto the witnesses today. All the witnesses became the criminals in the defense's eyes. That's what I noticed.
Well,
are we going to see that?
The prosecution essentially is trying to show that Sean Diddy Combs' business is the criminal enterprise. No, this is a different world than many people live in, but there are people who live in this world, and so we'll see if crimes are committed.
How significant is this trial in the broader Me Too?
Pardon me?
How significant is this trial in the broader Me Too movement?
Well, I mean, people keep saying to me, that the Me Too movement is dead. I don't know why they say that. There's no evidence of that. And I'd say to the contrary, it's alive and well, and living in this country and in many countries around the world. I mean, look at the victims who had the courage to come forward against R. Kelly. And there are persons here who allege they are victims who are coming forward against Sean Diddy Combs. That takes an enormous amount of courage, especially because so many of them are living in fear. And on top of that, there are many, many confidential settlements that you don't know about, but I do because I do them. And I've done more than 1,000 since I've been practicing law. So those are confidential without a lawsuit. And there are many people doing them because they do want their privacy, but they also want accountability from the perpetrators of the wrong against them. So obviously, women are coming forward. They're just not going to be silenced anymore if they believe that they have been the victims of injustice
That same point, Gloria.
by rich, powerful, famous men.
Gloria, are you representing anybody in this case?
No, I have 2 civil lawsuits.
Okay. Against Mr. Combs?
Yes. I'll have more to say some months from now.
That's fine.
In reference to others.
Can I ask you one question? In relation to Cassie going to testify this week, set to testify, right? With Cassie testifying, supposedly,
It may
right?
be tomorrow.
Right, maybe tomorrow, right? With her being pregnant, what do you think that does for the optics? How do you feel about with her being pregnant and her story? What do you think that's going to play with the jury? And do you think that is her in the defense, or do you think? What do you think?
I think a lot of, I think how the defense approaches that. Because they're going to want to discredit her. They're going to want to, cast her in a light not favorable to her. They're going to suggest that this is all her choice, that she wanted to do it, that she wanted a career, that she was willing to have sex in order to get the career, and that she was not being forced to do anything. And that she kept going back, it was a long relationship, and so forth.
How do you feel about Kanye
That
West?
is, part of their argument, that, he's not a nice guy, which is essentially what they said in their argument this morning. But he didn't commit federal crimes. That's what he's doing. She's a key witness, and there'll be a lot of examination about that video and more. So we'll see.
I appreciate your time. Appreciate your time.
He enjoys the presumption of innocence,
Yes.
but that's just a presumption, unless and until he's proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt by the jury in court. Okay, thank you.
You look great. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Not bad. Thank you.
Be safe.
Oh, you still have business cards?
I'm Linda Lopez, by the way.
I'm a digital girl.
Pardon me?
I'm a digital girl.
I know. I should put it on my.
You need a QR code.
She said, you need what? Y'all go.
QR.
She doing the old school stuff. She doing the old school stuff.
Can I get one of those too?
She doing the old school stuff. She doing a picture of that.
Do you have an extra card? No?
Take a picture of that, yeah.
Lopez from Viva Records.
I should put him where?
I'm with Linda Lopez from Viva Records. I started a record label in the
Oh,
Bronx.
you do.
And I do business with Sean for sampling and stuff like that. But I have some other issues that I'm going to talk about. Okay.
Once you raise her hand up.
Oh, it's on.
Thank you so much.
It's like there's like a 3-2-1 countdown.
All right. I gotta go. Here we
I do
go.
want to talk to you more about Kanye's case later, if we have time.
Can I have one of those, Gloria?
Well,
Because that case is, I follow, I'm a
Thank you.
journalist.
Thank you. I got Gloria's. Look, guys, I got our business card. Yes.
Online supporting Diddy. My daughter's represented.
well,
Thank you. Just in a safe
That's
spot.
another day.
I'll let Lisa talk about it.
Oh, she didn't respond to that? Yeah.
Be safe, Gloria. Thank you so much.
I wanted to talk about Kanye. She said Lisa can talk about it. Who has her business card?
Guys, that
Can
was
you
it.
get
I got it.
Can I take a photo of that? Because I'm going to ask her to get me in touch with Lisa Bloom.
Oh, put it here. Keep it in a safe spot.
Can you take a photo of that, Bree?
Go get her red.